Bienvenidos a So Violento, So Macabro Podcast. Yo soy Ali.
Y yo soy Dee.
Y hoy Dee nos contará de un caso que sucedió en Greenfield, California.
In a quiet California town, a baby is rushed into the hospital with injuries so severe that it left doctors speechless. An investigation digs deeper to a haunting story of neglect, deception, and unthinkable cruelty beginning to unravel. Who failed to protect the small child? And how did it come to this? This is a tragic case of Camilo Esteban Miramontes.
Advertencia: la información de este caso puede ser desencadenante para algunos. Tenga en cuenta que algunos de estos casos pueden involucrar menores de edad, abuso, violación o violencia. Escuchen con precaución.
Warning: the information on this case can be triggering to some. Please be advised that some of these cases may involve children, abuse, rape, and violence. Listen with caution.
Camilo Esteban Miramontes was born on October 28, 2010, in King City, California, to Araceli Mares and Eduardo Miramontes. At some point after his birth, Araceli separated from Eduardo and moved to Greenfield, California, with Camilo and her 2-year-old son. There she began living with her new boyfriend, 20-year-old Diego Burgos. According to the Mercury Herald, Araceli and Diego shared a home with another couple in Greenfield. So it was like a home, but they were stuffed into a room. And in that room, it was her, Diego, Camilo, and her 2-year-old son. And then they shared a kitchen, a living room with a different couple. Diego typically worked long hours and as a farmer in Northern California. So often he would wake up around 3:30 in the morning. But behind those closed doors, something dark happened on that morning. On August 29th, 2011, Araceli and Diego brought 10-month-old Camilo to King City Hospital. The infant was unresponsive and severely injured. Medical staff immediately suspected abuse. According to the doctors, the injuries appeared to be caused by someone swinging Camilo by his legs and slamming his head against a hard surface. Due to the severity of his condition, Camilo was transferred to the trauma center at Stanford Hospital. Over the week, doctors at Stanford fought to save his life. Court documents later revealed that Camilo had fractured skull, bleeding in the brain, broken legs, and numerous other injuries. Despite the efforts of top pediatric trauma specialists, Camilo died on September 5th, 2011. The coroner report listed the cause of death as blunt force trauma to the head. Shortly after Camilo arrived to Stanford, Greenfield police arrested Diego Burgos on suspicion of child abuse. What investigators discovered next was chilling. At trial, disturbing details emerged about Diego's feelings towards the baby. Friends testified that Diego frequently spoke about how he, quote, didn't get along with Camilo, a 10-month-old infant. Prosecutor Roland.
That's so pathetic.
Right?
Like, I'm sorry, a baby.
He's a 10-month-old baby.
Come on.
Some of these babies can't even talk. Like, how does he not, like, why don't they get along? So dumb. Prosecutor Rolando Masiguero recounted that Diego once told Araceli, quote, Camilo will never grow old. But according to Diego's attorney, he said that the way that the prosecutor phrased it was not correct. Because based on how you say it in Spanish, Camilo nunca va a ser grande, they interpret it as grow old. But, quote, like, according to Diego, he meant he's never going to grow tall. So it was very debatable when it came to court because Diego's attorney as well as the prosecutor were both kind of fighting with like the translation barriers of what it was when it came to communication between Diego and his friends, Diego and Araceli, and Diego just in general.
Okay. I guess that you can interpret that very different. When you translate to English, I get what he means, but ¿por qué dijo eso Diego? No va a crecer. ¿Qué tiene que, I mean, he's 10 months. How can you tell if a kid's going to be
tall or short or whatever?
Right.
That's exactly what was going on, like going through my head when I read it. I was like, okay, yeah, I understand that it would get lost in some sort of translation when it comes to translating something from English to Spanish or from Spanish to English, but it still makes no sense on why you would say that. He's a 10-month-old. He's like little. Like, I feel like as soon as like toddlers begin to like, be like 5 or 6, you see how tall they are. And then you depict whether they're going to be a tall kid or a short kid. And even then you still aren't 100% sure.
Exactly.
So for him to just abruptly say this in a conversation to Araceli was kind of awkward and weird. Because it's like, what do you mean?
What do you mean?
That?
Right.
Yeah. Araceli herself had taken photos in the weeks leading up to Camilo's death that showed bruises and other injuries. Yet she never reported them to the police. In text messages, Araceli confronted Diego by saying, quote, "You hate him. You don't care what happens." She also noted, quote, "You're always with him when it happens." Diego denied harming Camilo and blaming a loose car seat or Camilo's older brother or the baby himself for the injuries that were caused. Despite her suspicion, Araceli believed him. She forgave him and they reconciled. Araceli was in love, deeply, tragically, and believed every single lie. Prosecutors argued that her judgment was clouded. As one of them said in court, quote, "Unfortunately for Camilo, Araceli's ability to make logical and reasonable inference was impaired." In one of the most disturbing revelations, Diego had reportedly blamed Camilo for causing miscarriage when Araceli was pregnant with his child. He blamed Camilo and said that he was the reason why Araceli had a miscarriage. And this led up to the constant abuse towards Camilo. According to court documents, Camilo had been left to suffer with his injuries for at least 2 days before being taken to the hospital. Doctors determined that he had been beaten on multiple occasions before the final and fatal attack.
Oh, man.
I know. On January 9th, 2013, Diego Burgos was sentenced to 36 years to life in prison for the murder of Camilo Esteban Miramontes. Araceli Mares, who lived with Diego throughout the abuse and failed to act, was also held accountable. On May 29, 2013, she pleaded guilty of child endangerment resulting in death and was sentenced to 10 years in prison. This case left a deep scar in the community and several of heartbreaking reminders of the dangers of children can face behind closed doors, and how silence can be just as deadly as the violence. Who could do this to a child? What kind of hatred fuels such brutality? And most hauntingly, could Camilo have been saved? Our hearts go out to Camilo's family and the community that witnessed this tragic case. This is the tragic case of 10-month-old Camilo Esteban Miramontes.
We're all affected in a very deep way when it is a child who is utterly defenseless, unable to care for themselves, as obviously a child of this age, 10, 11 months is.
And this was the case of this week. Again, I didn't want to include this in the actual part of the episode just because I'm not concrete on the information that is out there. But based on what I've looked through and the research that I did on this case, Araceli should be out now. But there is no information on what happened, where was she released, any updates. So if everything is, if she served her sentence of 10 years, she should be out. And when it comes to Diego, there is no concrete evidence on of any updates on his case. The last thing I know is that they were going to try to do a retrial for his case. And his attorney kept saying that his client was innocent, and that I know.
What?
And that, yeah,
Okay.
according to there was this one part of the Mercury Herald where they were saying how the attorney was kind of saying that on the morning of Camilo's death, there was an African man in the house that they saw that had came into the house and left. Another one was saying that Araceli was with Camilo for 90% of the day, so she might be the one to blame when it comes to his murder. But in all, based on text messages and all of that stuff, it's kind of hard to debunk that idea that Diego actually murdered Camilo. And again, he was a 10-month-old baby, so that's kind of the most heartbreaking part about this case.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there hasn't been any more updates about the case until Araceli was, gone to prison for child endangerment. But yeah, that's pretty much any update we have on the case. If you have any updates,
It's upsetting.
I know
It's upsetting.
it truly is.
It's frustrating because for you to be upset at a 10-month-old baby, and for you to
It's
be like, I hate
crazy.
this baby, he doesn't like me, we don't like each other. It's like, dude,
What?
come on.
Like, for
come
me,
on.
it's like,
Te
are you-
pasas.
I would understand if it was a teenager or a preteen or even a child. It's like, you know what, we just don't get along, and I'm just gonna give him his
I don't
space.
like you, you're not my dad.
Yeah,
Right? Because
I
it
get
wasn't
it.
his dad. Diego wasn't his dad. It was his
yeah,
stepdad.
yeah, basically. But to have this big hatred to the point of causing this horrible crime against this 10-month-old, to me, it's mind-blowing. And I'll never seem to understand
Y dijo
people that act like that.
dijo Diego por qué le echaba la culpa a Camilo que le tuvo el miscarriage,
No,
Araceli, no.
no. The only thing that they said was that he blamed Camilo for that. That was the main reason he blamed him for the miscarriage. And we don't even know why she had a miscarriage. It could have been other things, but according to him, Camilo was
niño.
at fault. Yeah.
No.
And to me, it's why was it not to bring her other son into the conversation, but also it's why was her 2-year-old, was her 2-year-old involved in this type of abuse? What happened there? It's a lot of unanswered questions.
Yeah.
And mainly it's because not a lot of people covered this case. The only ones that did was CBS News, KSBW, and the Monterey Herald. And that was about it. There was no real coverage on this case, so not a lot of information was brought up.
Yeah.
But the most horrifying part about this case was that it was a 10-month-old baby. And this
And the
grown-ass
details.
man
Oh my God.
hated this baby.
Y los detalles como lo hizo. It's like,
Yeah.
that's just heartbreaking, and it's infuriating, and it pisses me off.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. The mom pisses me off too.
Oh, yeah.
También ella
Without a
viendo
doubt.
que habían moretones, viendo que cada rato que lo dejo con Diego, el niño viene lleno de moretones. Come on.
Yeah.
And
And
you're
the fact-
confronting him already in text messages. Like, dude,
Just
It's
go. Yeah, you have photo evidence of what's been going
Exactly.
on. You
suspected something.
you
It's
suspected
like-
something was wrong. And then even after he brutally beat him up, she left him alone for 2 days, unattended. It's are you serious? You left him for 2 days, beaten and battered. What kind of mother are you to leave him that way? It's horrible. Horrible.
It's like, I know a veces entendemos cuando personas se quedan en relaciones, ¿verdad? Donde where they're threatening you and you're scared of leaving relationships, right?
Yeah.
We can understand the fear behind all that, right? But when it comes to a case like this, when it's you see this person's abusing your child and you still leave your child with him, like if there was some fear, if let's just say Diego was threatening her and she was scared of leaving, like, okay,
it's understanding. Yeah.
It's right, but it's like let's say you fear this guy and you still leave your kid with him. That's what I don't understand.
Yeah.
That's like it's I can't understand this, Mom.
Yeah. And then for the most part, the attorney, the prosecutor, the one that said, she was very, very in love with this person. I'm like, there's only so much love that you can have for a person that's like, brutally abusing of your own child,
no. Porque ella no le tenía miedo a Diego, por lo que dicen, there wasn't no fear, he wasn't threatening her, like, si te vas, de lo que has visto.
Yeah. No, from my understanding, I guess, like, based on the text messages that I came across, there was no fear from her side towards him. It was just
love.
It was just love. And we don't know what actually happened, so we weren't in there in that home.
Right.
But for this to happen is horrible because you're just like, it's a baby. Like,
you're letting it happen.
You're letting this happen to a baby. Clearly, you know that this baby has nothing against this grown-ass man. So why would he be doing this to a child, to a baby, to an infant? Yeah. And, like, I came across a picture of the baby, like, him smiling and stuff. And I'm just like, he's a baby. Like, are you kidding me? He's a baby. He had his whole life ahead of him. And you let this man hurt him in brutally way. Like, I'll never be able to, like, wrap my head around that.
No.
And again, if you have any details of when it comes to this case or any of our 43 cases, we have, the platform open to you. We have our Instagram, TikTok, or X, or Twitter as it's known, our Blue Sky, our, that's it. Yeah, for now.
Yes.
We have all of that. You can find us at SVSM_podcast, or you can find us on Facebook as Sobre el Macabro Podcast. Just type that in the search bar and our page should pop up. And if you want to see the video portion of this episode, just go to YouTube and type Sobre el Macabro Podcast or SVSM_podcast and we should pop up. And if not, just go to the link in our bio or in the description of this episode, and all our links should be there. If you want to listen to the 143 episodes we have of this podcast, just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or wherever you stream podcasts, and just type in Sobre el Macabro Podcast, and our whole catalog should be there. We have a couple of the full-length episodes for the last, I think 20 episodes, maybe
20, 25 episodes.
Yeah. So the last 25 episodes, we have them on our YouTube channel. So, just type in Sobre el Macabro Podcast on YouTube and you should see the video portions of our episode where you can see us. But yeah, I think that's about it. Any updates? Anything we should be talking about? No. Okay. So, we're officially halfway through May. It's wild to think.
Like it.
I don't either. I think it's horrible. We're already like getting closer to summer, and I'm hating it already.
This heat on the weekend, it was really bad.
It was really bad.
It was so bad.
We were all trying to celebrate Mother's Day, but it was blazing hot out here. But we hope you all had a wonderful Mother's Day. To those who celebrate and those who are, tragically not able to celebrate with your loved ones or for any reason,
the moms who lost their kids
or are missing their children. Our hearts go out to you guys.
Yeah.
We know how difficult this holiday is. So again, we want to just say you are loved and you are appreciative, and we see you, and we love you, and
sending you a big hug.
Yeah, we send you a big hug, and yeah.
Thank you for being the amazing moms that you are.
Exactly, completely agree with that. But yeah, and even the fur moms, sending you guys love too.
Oh yeah, happy Mama's Day.
Happy Mother's Day to you too. But let us know if you have any questions, any concerns, or if you want to suggest any further cases. Let us know. Our comment sections are open, as well as our DMs, and we will love to get any recommendations. But yeah, anything else?
That is it.
That is it for this week. Sorry again that this episode is up late. I know. It's my fault. Completely my fault. It's been a busy couple of weeks. I currently am fostering kittens, so it takes a toll on my life. So
she's taking applications.
Yes, I'm taking applications for homes. If you are if you want to adopt 2 lovely boy kittens, my Instagram is full of pictures of them. So if you want to see them, shoot me a DM. Local is better.
Yes.
So if you live in the LA area, that would be better than...
Yes, we will go to your house. We will make sure it's safe. We will make sure you're a good parent.
Exactly. But
we have to like you first.
Yeah, we have to like you first and be aware that you are a fit for a parent.
Yeah, because I mean, unfortunately, there are people who are not fit to be...
Oh, without a doubt.
Who are not allowed to have pets.
Oh, yeah. Trust me, I've seen that over and over again. I've been dealing with a lot of trying to figure out a lot of things lately, and I've realized that people out here just want to breed these pets for no reason, and then these pets end up in shelters.
Yeah,
and it breaks my heart to know that they're in shelters. So
I know.
Please, if you can, adopt, don't shop. There's plenty of organizations that have purebred dogs. If you are looking for a purebred dog or cat, just look for your local pet organizations, and they should, let you know of places you can look for a specific breed, a specific type of cat or dog. So please, please, please consider adopting and not shopping for your fur babies. But with that, I think that's about it for this week.
Yes, nos vemos la próxima semana.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Adios.
Bye. Stay spooky.
I'm throwing pixie dust.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.